Our photographer's camera crapped out right after we walked down the aisle, so everything was taken on a phone, and when we showed up to the reception, half the family table was empty, and we later found out our photographer fell asleep and missed the entire reception. Posted by you/orangejuuliuses. Our photographer slept through the entire reception, and half the family ditched for a World Series party. There ain't no flair to recap what went down this weekend, y'all. Weddings bring out a different breed of crazy in people. I'd like to start by saying I absolutely adore my wife. I adore my chosen family, and I will forever cherish our wedding as the day our family tree was planted. I will also say that this is not fake, it's not AI. Yes, all of this really happened. Necessary context: we had a non-religious, family-only, about 10, ceremony at noon in a state park, immediately followed by a reception at a nearby location with the rest of our guests, about 60. It was a 15-minute drive between locations. We'd been engaged for about 14 months and sent out save the dates exactly 1 year in advance. My wife had a major medical emergency that kept her in the hospital all summer. There was absolutely a time we thought we'd have to postpone. All of her doctors have been extremely surprised she would be able to walk long enough to go down the aisle and stand long enough to have her first dance. Interjection: this determination and grit is why I married her. Now onto our wedding day. One family member in her 40s showed up in a white t-shirt and black leggings. Somehow, this is the least offensive thing that happened and makes both of us laugh when we talk about it. Wife's mom, grandma, grandpa, and her only sibling did not attend the ceremony nor reception. Still not sure why. The photographer's camera crapped out immediately after we walked down the aisle, so everything else was taken on a phone. Family photos, rings, first kiss, everything. I had assumed she would want to run home to figure that out before dinner and the first dance, so we let her leave a little early. When we showed up to dinner, I immediately noticed the family table was only half full. My in-laws were nowhere to be found. They, along with the photographer, missed our first dance and speeches. Dinner and cake was completely gone, and dishes were on the drying rack by the time they got there. Aunt and uncle strolled in almost 4 hours late, stayed for about 45 minutes, and then left. Turns out cousins and uncles were at another party. When we did the math, Aunt and uncle decided to show up when the Dodgers had sealed the game. Frick the Dodgers, but that's irrelevant. All night, our VIP friends and I texted and called the photographer like our lives depended on it. We took shifts all night long. The response after we got into bed, verbatim, fell asleep. Thankfully we had a few folks go nuts on their phones, so it's not like we don't have any pictures. But that meant all night I was worrying about asking people to take and text me pictures of my wife. Thankfully, the agreement was cash in exchange for a disc of unedited photos. Yes, I know that's non-traditional, but that's how people do things here. When the disc is physically in my hands, I will inform her that she will not receive any payment as she failed to meet her obligations as a hired photographer. Thankfully, she has already sent the pictures on her phone, which were the most important parts anyways. Oh, and did I mention our officiant showed up to the ceremony with a completely blank journal? Not a drop of ink on her supposed script. Did not use the proclamation or declaration my wife and I wrote together. None of the readings we provided. She had no idea what was going on and repeatedly asked me what to do and what was supposed to happen next. She delayed and canceled every opportunity we had to rehearse and showed up 10 minutes before we walked down the aisle. Ceremony? Missed the most important ceremonial parts. Photographer? Missed 10 hours of her commitment. Family? Great question. So yeah. I freaking love my wife, and I'm so hyped I got to marry my best friend. I'm so extremely happy she's been healthy enough to have a wedding. I just hate that so many different people let her down. Edited. I swear the lack of detail is from writing this at 4 a.m. in my kitchen after everyone left. When I said how we do things here, I live in a very rural, small town on the US or Mexico border. Naming the community would 100% identify me, as if this whole post doesn't anyways lol. It would have been way too expensive to pay someone to travel several hours to us, so we asked, who we thought was, a reliable family member. She has done a lot of similar work for people in the community in the same boat as us. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, I am so sorry this all happened. I know you're trying to be positive and are still so grateful you got to marry your wife, who got to make it to her own wedding. But you have every right to be pissed. Truly, I'd trash that photographer on every single review board possible, including local wedding Facebook pages. I'd reach out to every day of coordinator or wedding planner in the area and advise them to not hire this person. Next, and this is obviously up to your wife, but I'd really consider going no contact with her whole immediate family. It doesn't sound like you guys have major beef with them if you have no idea why they didn't show. You'd think a set of parents, sibling and grandparents would be so happy their child or family member was alive and well and getting married to the love of her life that they'd be at her wedding crying. But no? They don't care about her, and I think going no contact is the safest way to protect her going forward. For when you guys have children or other major life events that they ignore. Don't give them the opportunity to even pretend to care, because they don't. Ops response: thank you for this. I really appreciate it. I texted her mom to say we missed you yesterday. My wife would like at least a text from her mother on her wedding day. The response: noted. Commenter 2: thankfully, the agreement was cash in exchange for a disc of unedited photos. Yes, I know that's non-traditional, but that's how people do things here. Where is here? Commenter 3: yeah, because they were watching the World Series, and that's absolutely not how things are done in the US. Commenter 4: yeah. Agree. Reading between the lines here, and totally not blaming Op for this crazy stuff happening, it seems that maybe Op had more of an informal type gathering that did not involve professional wedding vendors? I can't imagine any well-reviewed photographer would fall asleep or well-reviewed officiant would come empty-handed and wing it. Something more is to this story. People's own parents do not miss their weddings without there being more to the story. Even if the more is just that they're horrible parents or that it was Op's wife's 5th wedding or something. Op, we need more details here. LOL. Op's response: correct. You'll see in my edit, but our family and local community is just way too small to justify vendors of any kind. There legitimately are not wedding vendors here, so our only option for chairs and tables were a business an hour away that specializes in bouncy houses. Lol. Much more of a DIY wedding, but it still deserves the same respect from the people in our lives. Commenter 5: I think you and your wife deserve beautiful wedding photos. I would pick a location you love and an actual professional photographer for some staged photos of you both in your wedding gear. If you're not up to it now, it would make a wonderful first anniversary gift. Op's response: if I hadn't quite literally just returned my rental tux, I'd say we'd go for it this week. She loves the idea of retrying the vow ceremony, just the two of us, with a very, very close friend who expressed her disgust at both the photographer and officiant situations. Commenter 6: I hope you torched that photographer in the reviews. Op's response: I torched her in her dang text messages. Selfish and lazy, honestly. Commenter 7: I just need to know why her family ditched her at her wedding. When you find out, can you please update us? I'm sure the excuse will be just as amusing as all the other crappy things that happened. I love your sense of humor through it all. This will get you and your wife through a lot of difficult times through your marriage and lifetime. Congratulations. Op's response: I'd love to know too. I have a feeling the people in this thread might find out before we do. Lol. Laughter is the first cornerstone of love. Thanks for the positivity. Update: next day. In case you missed it, we had a non-traditional ceremony and reception in our rural community over the weekend. Our photographer slept through the reception, family ditched to watch the World Series, and officiant showed up to the ceremony completely empty-handed. Number 1, no update on the family or why they left. No update from wife's mom or grandparents for no showing. They're still refusing to reach out to her. She's doing better today, but we probably aren't getting an answer on this for a good while. Honestly, that is really only her family's loss and not ours. Number 2, got the disc of photos. Didn't say a word or exchange a penny when I picked them up. Just turned around and got right back in the car. Looking at them reminded me why we chose this state park as our venue. Dang near impossible to even notice camera quality when the location is so stunning. I do a lot of graphic design and photo editing for work, so I'm excited to take a crack at editing them myself today. Number 3, I don't think we need an apology from the officiant because the photos of her looking like she got caught in the cookie jar are more than enough. God, I wish I could post them here. Her face in every single photo, rings, readings, vows, looks exactly like the awkward monkey puppet meme. In the family photos, she is fully upstaging my wife. My wife is quite literally in her shadow. Lol. In her words, that's a big rear smile for half a rear of work. Every time I get irritated or bummed about logistic failings, I look at the ceremony pics and immediately start crying laughing. I'm genuinely shocked that this community has been so supportive. It'll be a long time before either of us want to spend any amount of time with this side of the family, but we had such a special weekend with childhood friends from 9 different states around the country. No matter what, that can never be taken from us. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, I'm just amazed how strongly you are holding yourself together. If I were you, I must have had like the 999th mental breakdown and full on ready for another one. This whole thing reminds me that a wedding day is just a day. Yeah, it's beautiful, memorable and magical, but what makes it all those words is that you get to marry the person you love the most. I have been having minor regrets on few things for my wedding, such as I should have rented nice wine glasses or I should have hired a second photographer. Now I can finally let them go. Wish you two the best and the happiest life together. Op's response, thank you. This year has taught us how to work with the cards we're dealt. We didn't get to complain about food at the hospital or the bar of soap they gave me in the visitor showers because it's just what we had to deal with. She teaches me patience like I've never known. We've been gabbing all day about our chosen family and all of the amazing ways they've shown up for us. I don't think I'm gonna remember making this Reddit post a year from now. Commenter 2, if this was me, I'd divorce just to have a do-over wedding. Ops response, we're thinking about redoing vows, just the two of us. Commenter 3, this is a great update. Did your photographer say anything to you when you picked up the disc? You and your spouse have a great attitude about what others would, rightfully, be very upset about. It shows great promise for your relationship. Congratulations on the wedding, and cheers to your marriage. Ops response, didn't let her. Grabbed it and drove TF away lol. Commenter 4, how has your mill acted towards you in the past? Have you gotten along? I'm so confused about why she wouldn't show up and would be so cold when you texted her. Ops response, you're telling me. I think a few days of decompressing has helped me realize that it might be a culmination of resentment that my wife, 28, wanted me at the hospital with her this summer, not her mom. Her mom's been engaged since before we met each other, so maybe jealousy? I keep going back and forth on saying this, but I'm gonna. We're the only interracial couple and non-Christians in her family, and it makes me wonder if they just legitimately thought it was fine to miss it because it wasn't a real wedding anyways. I'm not sure if this warrants a full update lol. I absolutely do not want to keep blowing up this subreddit or my phone, but it seems like some of y'all are invested.